Okay, so can you tell me a bit more about like what's important to know about the brain?
That's a good question. I think we all kind of tend to deal with our anger management issues. Sometimes we say or do things that we feel like, oh God, well, I'm so regretful. How could I have said that? Or why did I do this? Actually, this is not us at that time responding. Um, we have in our brain a circuit that is called amygdala behind our eyes. That is our survival mechanism, actually, which is essential part of our brain because this is where we respond uh, quicker than processing the information so that our life is survived. So it survives us. So amygdala says, asks us, am I safe here? And if it thinks that we are not safe there, it attacks and it hijacks the
Yeah.
neocortex, which is the mindful part of our brain, which processes information and saying us, you don't need to do this. This is not a threat.
Mm.
So amygdala uh, is essential because it is our survival mechanism, but we need to know how to control our amygdala so that it doesn't hijack our neocortex. There are beautiful videos out there, one of which is made by Daniel Siegel. We have shared with you, you know better than I do actually, and so his video, especially teaching how to deal with
Mm.
our amygdala to young children, is essential. I think it's beautiful, and
Yeah.
it's YouTube. Everyone can
Yeah.
maybe.
We can place it under this
Yeah.
video. It's
Yes.
a model that we can teach really young children, and we
Mhm.
can model it for them with the amygdala being the thumb and the frontal
Yes.
cortex here. And then when we flip our lid, he says that's when our amygdala is exposed. So it's when we are in this situation you mentioned, like we don't think, we don't have time to think, and sometimes we make mistakes there. And children, everybody is learning, but children have when we understand their brain, we know that okay, it's just their chemical, it's not their character. So
Mhm.
we cannot really I mean, I don't believe in the rewards and punishment for sure.
Mhm.
We cannot really punish them for for acting
Yeah.
in certain ways. We need to understand, help them understand that when you are there, first you need to be calm. We both need to be calm, even the parents, to be able to have a conversation about this. So don't try to tell your teenager to stop using their phone at the moment when you see them using their phone too much. You need for them to be calm. You need yourself to be calm, and then have this conversation later and find common ground together, give them autonomy. So there's a beautiful book also that we studied, The Self-Driven Child,
Yeah.
and Anil and I, we discuss it a lot. And
Uh-huh.
the
I
bit
think book.
about this,
Yeah.
yeah, to it's not about the character of, you don't put the child in a box of character, but it's the chemical. Once we understand this, we're more likely to help them to learn this
Yeah.
self-awareness.
Younger,
And
younger, better, but never too late. So as
yeah.
adults, can still practice. But how to deal with that? How do we um, overcome? There are there are of course techniques we may share here. We first need to find out maybe what triggers us. What are the things that annoys us, or when we feel like we are frustrated, we're angry, we're mad.
Mm.
So uh, if we can name them, we can tame them. So it is important, naming and taming, important.
Yes.
But how do we do that? First, um, we need to be more self-aware in order to be able to overcome these issues. We have to practice self-awareness, which we're gonna talk about.
Yes.
But I wanna just tell here that that 3 breath exercise helps a lot. And
Yeah.
when you are feeling that you are attacked emotionally, like
Yes.
there's an unfair situation and you want to defend yourself, this is your amygdala, not you. So tell yourself that I need to process. Do I need to attack this, or can I find a better way? In order
Yes.
to set in your mind, maybe you can first practice, if I am angry, I need to pause
Right.
for to 10. But better is taking three deep breaths. And what my husband does is he walks. I mean, not that he's angry at all. I have never seen him angry, but he says, when I am stuck or when I get frustrated, I need my physical, I need to do something physical to get rid of the
Right.
motion.
Yes.
Whatever fits best for you, you know better than anyone else. So you need to listen to yourself, and you are your only cure. You
Mm.
and the techniques you are developing are working best for you. So you need to practice to understand what works better for you.
Absolutely. I think we are the expert on us, and even our children or our students, they are the expert on themselves. And I think that's also like a good awareness for parents sometimes who think they have to control every single thing about their child. Is no, they are the expert on them, and we need to help them unleash this treasure, this gift that they have of knowing themselves, of this self-awareness. And I wanted to make some connection here on something that's really important to me is I think if we, because it's also we are really trying to talk about how we can control ourselves, right? In a way that's that we can be a better version of ourselves and continue to refine ourselves and know ourselves. I think for children, it is so important to teach them intelligent disobedience, because schools tend to be more about compliance and obedience. But when we start to think about, actually, I'm teaching children who need to, when they flip their lid, need to have the right way to protect themselves as well, because we talk a lot about child protection. There was this really interesting video, I will also link it below, that I've seen in a workshop, Blink, Think, Choice, and Voice. And this is kind of the idea of teaching very young children already that if they are asked to do something that's not actually okay, instead of obeying, they can blink. So it's kind of a way to say, I'm going to pause or I'm going to breathe. They can think, I can say no. Choice, I will make that decision. And voice, I'm going to say no, for example, or yes. But it is in the case, of course, of protecting themselves against any sort of abusive situation, or even something that's not ethical, that they are asked to do because it's a figure of authority asking them to do it. So I think it's also going back to this skill of teaching children to think for themselves and be able to tame, to name also feelings, to choose. And it's a skill. It's a skill,
It
so we need to teach it.
You reminded me a story. 2 years ago, my daughter was 12 back in those days, and we were gonna have a flu shot. And I told her that we're gonna go to the clinic to get our flu shots. And she said, "Wait a minute. It's my body, my decision. I'm not gonna have flu shot." And I was got, "What? You really say this?" And I was impressed, really, and really respected. And then I said, "Well, you're right. It's your body and your decision. Do you want to come with me and listen from the doctor? And if he will convince you, you can get it." And uh, she said, "Okay, yeah, I'm willing to do that." And then when the doctor started talking about how many people are dying and blah blah, and she said, "Okay, I'm convinced I can have my flu shot." But I
Yeah, but
think this is a lesson for me as well as a mother. I am so amazed that new generations, and as you mentioned, are really being more independent and advocate about their selves. So it's yeah, but
yeah, exercising their autonomy is the gift that we give them, because we don't want to decide everything for them. And I think that book also, Self-Driven Child, is about, even for homework, when it comes to homework, why are you going in the tug of war about homework? It is their responsibility. You can give them the information and you can make them understand this is important.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, they have to, if we require things, if we control, we are
Mhm.
taking their autonomy, and then it has detrimental effects. But if we inspire them instead, or if we give them the information and act like consultants in
Mhm.
giving them the choice for themselves, and to also make mistakes and bounce back on their own and take the, the logical consequences of not doing your homework is your teacher will not be happy, or you will fail for these tests. Well, you're going to learn through this experience, and sometimes we just want to not allow children to make mistakes because we're seeing them through our eyes of adults, and we have made those mistakes and we don't want them to do it. But it, life doesn't work like that. So I think we
Yeah.
better equip them when we are providing them with that self-determination, really, that we create the conditions for them to feel that we care for them, that they are competent and they can do things, and that they have the choice. They can endorse, they can do something because they want to do it, or they can do something because they understand the rationale.
Mhm.
Like you said, they understand the doctor said that, so I'm going to take action accordingly.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Fanny, from that book, one line that struck me most, and I shared with you at that time as well. If you remember, stop living your child's life. I think this is the most important lesson I got from that book, and let her live her life, and not I don't I from that time onwards I am reminding myself whenever I am in the way, okay, this is her life, not mine. I should stop living her life.
Absolutely, it's a very brilliant work.